Am I the asshole for judging a couple who came into the restaurant I work in? I, 22 female, am a waitress at a restaurant. I've experienced all kinds of customers since I work as a waitress for the past 3 years. I actually love my job. One of the worst kinds of customers we get is couples who sit on the same side of the table. That's an inside joke, knowledge between all of us servers. Many servers have talked to have the same thoughts on how it's weird when couples do that. Being in the industry 3 years now, I've now found the solution to that. Whenever I spot a couple, I have them seated at tables where it's impossible for them to sit next to each other. And if we are full and that's not possible for whatever reason and a table like that isn't available, then we have to endure the couples sitting side by side. The reason servers are so judgy about this is that we find it very weird. Can't you just go few hours without touching each other? Plus, sitting on opposite sides is more romantic. So, I've stopped hiding my distaste for couples like this for a long time now, but most of the time these people are so absorbed into each other that they don't realize how we are indeed judging them. On Thursday I had evening shift. A couple walks in. I sit them on opposite sides, but they then sat on the same booth again. My coworker and I started laughing and the couple noticed us but didn't say anything. Throughout the whole time my coworkers were joking about it. We even asked them if they're waiting for other people and they've let the other booth empty, and they said no. Just the two of them. At one point the girl called on me and asked if I have a problem. I said no problem, why would there be a problem? She then started scolding me on how rude my behavior and the rest of the staff's behavior is, and how she and her fiancé know why we are judging them and we have ruined their experience since they couldn't enjoy their date and their meal without us constantly staring them. I apologized for this. I just explained how it's not personally against them and how it's an inside joke servers have. The guy then said he doesn't give a damn about this and we are very unprofessional. They paid and left. Later that night we saw that they let a negative review and described their experience. Our manager called us in and scolded us. Never in my 3 years have I got in trouble over this. AITA? You're 22 years old. Don't you think it's time you acted like it? Are y'all just bitter because you don't have anyone? You are the asshole. I worked in restaurants for 20 years. I wouldn't ever step foot back in one because I know too much, but if I did, I would make sure to sit on the same side as my husband just because. Servers are not judgy about this. You and your coworkers are judgy about this. I worked in food service for more than a decade, most of that as a waitress, and I had one coworker in all that time who thought this behavior was weird, and she had the sense not to behave this way, because she's not a child. This is high school mean girl lunchroom behavior. The negative review was well deserved, and yes, you are the asshole. You are so obviously the asshole that I kind of expect the comments to fill up with people calling you a troll. I wish I could, but sadly I have worked with a couple of servers this nasty and childish. I'm pretty sure you're a real person, and I really hope for your sake that you wake up quickly, because this behavior will alienate people fast, and that includes managers. You are the asshole. Rude and unprofessional. Your manager should have fired you and your coworker instead of merely scolding you. You are the asshole. The reason servers are so judgy about this is that we find it very weird. Can't you just go few hours without touching each other? Plus, sitting on opposite sides is more romantic. That's not a reason at all. Also, you are not the judge on what's romantic or what's not. You have no idea why they sit like that, and really it's none of your business. YTA. I'm registered legally blind. No sight in left eye and only central in right. My partner finds it easier to stop me accidentally knocking shit off the table if he's on the left side of me and on me. Unless you really want to clear up the mess that will inadvertently happen if he wasn't there. You are the asshole. Seek help so you can learn to love yourself instead of projecting onto others who are simply just trying to have a meal with someone they love. Am I the asshole for leaving my best friend and his friends stranded in an unfamiliar city? So for background, my best friend has gotten into going to these Spartan races. He and a small group of his friends have started going to local ones, but recently heard about one in another state they wanted to go to and compete in, but they didn't have anywhere to stay. So they asked me if they could borrow my truck and trailer. I have a tow-behind camper, for the weekend. I said no, I wasn't comfortable with them taking my truck and trailer, but that I'd drive them and the camper to their event. We made the 3-hour trip and set everything up in the area where the race was taking place the next day. I have a habit of leaving my keys on a hook next to the door to my bedroom in my camper. Remember this. Come nightfall, I went to take a phone call outside and ended up wandering around the grounds for over an hour. When I got back to the camper, the door was locked, and I was told by my best friend's older friend through the window that there wasn't enough room for me in my trailer. So I reached for my keys to unlock the door, but realized I had left them inside the camper on the hook in my room. So I called my best friend from outside and all I was told was, "Sorry bro. Nothing I can do." So I ended up sleeping in my truck that night, which I had fortunately left unlocked by accident. Their race began at 8 a.m., and at 7, they came meandering out of the trailer and woke me up. No apology, by the way. So while they were in their race, I hooked my truck back up to the trailer, closed and locked everything, and waited until just after they finished and had started walking back to the trailer. Think really wide open field. When I saw them coming, I started the truck and drove off the property, with them chasing behind. I made the 3-hour trip back home, declining call after call. When I finally got home, I finally took my best friend's call. He started yelling at me saying, "Why would you do this? We have no way home now." I just said sorry. "You shouldn't have made me sleep in my truck after I did you this solid." He told me that there were better ways to handle this than by leaving them in an unfamiliar city with no way home. I think he ended up calling his dad to come and get them. Is he right? Was there a better way to handle this? I felt justified until he said that. I am kinda doubting my decision now. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. They're Spartan warriors, right? They should run home. Not the asshole. Was there a more adult way to deal with this? Definitely. Did they deserve to be treated like adults after the disrespectful, asinine and childish stunt they pulled? No. Fuck those guys. They got what they deserved. Not the asshole. Who tells someone they can't sleep in their own camper? He's not your best friend. I'm just really confused what these people's thought process was. They really thought they'd lock you out of your own camper and you'd smile and drive them home? Was it harsh? Yes. Did they deserve it? Also yes. They're grown, they can find their way home. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. They straight up locked you out? That's messed up. Sounds like they see you not as a friend but as someone who can do stuff for them. They are adults with phones and money, they were fine. I would suggest you start making new, better friends, even if you decide to keep these guys around. Not the asshole. This made me laugh. I could picture you hitching up the camper to your truck, looking at your watch and looking out for the first sign of them coming. Then seeing them come and executing the perfect moment to F-King floor it and yee-haw. Get the FK out of there. Then looking in the mirror and getting the ultimate satisfaction of seeing them running after you but to no avail. You need to cross-post this. I think there is a petty revenge sub? Because this is gold. Edit. R. Petty revenge. Am I the asshole for wearing jeans and a top at my sister's wedding? I, 19 female, have a more masculine style. I'm a straight cis woman by the way, so before anyone brings up my sexuality or gender, let's get this out of the way. I simply dress more masculine and casual. I never liked doing my hair or my makeup and I was never into that feminine stuff. My sister got married last week and ever since her wedding planning started taking place I've been told that I should dress appropriately for the wedding. They expected me to make my hair or makeup, but this is just not for me. I'm not like that at all and I don't think I should change the way I am for a wedding. My mom kept telling me to at least wear something nice even if it's not a dress, but honestly I didn't feel comfortable in anything. I tried on some suits etc. and while they looked nice, this is not my style at all. I mostly wear jeans and sweats, so I decided to simply wear a more expensive and stylish pair of jeans that I own with a blue top that is not casual but not formal either. But it's the best I could do so I'd not be 100% casual but also feel comfortable. At first I was denied entrance at the venue because the venue is black tie only, but my sister tried to convince the owner to let this go this once because I'm her sister. My sister barely spoke to me or acknowledged me all night. After the wedding my parents kept telling me how immature I was about the whole thing and that I owe my sister an apology. I thought it was going to the extremes, making such a big deal out of some outfits. I called my sister trying to talk it out and I said that we should really let this go, it's just clothes. My sister then started ranting about how on her wedding day she had to stress about convincing the owner of the venue to let me in because I couldn't follow one simple and common rule. She said that me proving how different I am was more important than making a small compromise and wearing a suit at least. I explained how it's such a stupid argument because why would I have to wear a suit, and how shallow she is for caring so much about appearances and outfits, and that her wedding should be special to her beyond the sparkles and the expensive hair and makeup. She told me I'm an asshole because just because something isn't important to me doesn't mean that it can't be important to her, and she said she regrets wasting her time trying to talk to the venue owner because I clearly did not deserve it and I want to seem like I'm better and more different than her. You are the asshole. Her wedding wasn't about you. You made it about you. That's selfish. You're not like the other girls, we get it. You are the asshole. Dress codes are a thing. We abide by them daily. You can't wear a bikini to the office, e.g. your sister is right, why couldn't you just put yourself second for one day and played along? You are the asshole. How hard is it to wear a pair of semi-smart trousers instead of jeans? You are the asshole. It was a wedding and it had a dress code. It's pretty rude and disrespectful to outright ignore it, and you had even been told that you did not have to wear a dress. Tome. A person ignoring the dress code, especially when they had been expressly asked not to do so, would say, I don't care about you and your special day. I only care about myself and my needs, so I think that is why your family is so upset. Because they think what you have done is selfish, and so do I. You are the asshole. That's not appropriate wedding wear, unless it was an informal wedding. The fact that you like or don't like something is irrelevant. As your mother stated, you didn't have to wear a dress, but you do have to dress up. You can't go through life just wearing jeans. You say you dress more masculine, but were the guys wearing jeans? Especially those directly related to the bride? Am I the asshole for showing up where my husband was supposed to be? My husband, 42M, has a boys' night out with his friends every Friday and Saturday, going to the local pub and usually just chats and plays darts with his friends or something. I, 35F, don't know the specifics of their hangout as I don't really pry into that. Nor does he really talk about it to me. I'm usually left in charge to take care of the kids on those days, which can be tiring as they're quite young and don't quite listen at times. I've asked him to maybe reduce his boys' night out to just Saturday or just the weekend in general. We aren't religious, but he hasn't been quite receptive to it, saying that I'm being controlling, clingy, and etc. So I just decided to leave it at that, as whenever I try bringing it up, he just gets all defensive and accusing. It just gets tiring to deal with. This happened around 2 weeks ago, but on Saturday, our daughter fell ill and the medicine I had at the time wasn't helping, so I had to drive to emergency care and called him to come up so he could check on his daughter as he's her favorite parent. He wasn't answering, and all my calls went into voicemail, and I'm gonna admit, I was seriously pissed off. I called him around 15 times or more if I remembered correctly, and once we finally got out of emergency care, which took a while due to there being tons of families there, so the waiting was long. When we got home, I asked one of my neighbors that I knew well to watch my kids and drove to the pub that he usually visited with his friends for his night out. Well, when I entered the pub, he wasn't there along with any of his buddies, so I was confused. I tried asking the bartender if he had seen my husband or just any of his friends, but he said no, and just looked as confused as me, and so I just left. He came home a couple hours later, and I questioned him about his location and he just refused to answer and kept saying he was there, and that I was just blind, and started questioning me why I was there in the first place, accusing me of being a controlling witch, etc. I asked him why he didn't answer his phone, and he just said his phone was dead and he didn't have a charger, then just stormed off to our room. Now, he's been silent around me and refusing to talk to me unless I keep pestering him, and now I'm starting to feel like the asshole, as I think what I did was kinda controlling and I don't want it to seem like I'm doubting him or think he's untrustworthy, but at the same time, he didn't answer my calls at all and just brushed it off. Am I the asshole? Ma'am? This is your FedEx driver, your delivery of red flags are here. Where do you want all the boxes? Not the asshole. Not the asshole. I bet he's not out with the boys. Be prepared to find out he's got a side piece stashed somewhere. You'll be better off without him. Not the asshole. He's cheating. He wasn't where he said he'd be, wouldn't answer his phone and got angry at you for questioning him. Your husband goes out Friday and Saturday nights with the boys every week. Lies about where is he and what he's doing. He's not out with the boys. He's a complete awe. The only thing you've done wrong is putting up with his BS. You're not the asshole. Unfortunately, your husband isn't much of a husband. You need to keep in mind that he's in the wrong, not you. He has been a bad partner and a bad father. He needs to ask forgiveness. You need time off too. Do you ever get any? And not to be mean, but are you sure that he's out with the boys? He's cheating on you. Not the asshole.